Well, tomorrow marks 20 years since Hurricane Katrina hit the Gulf Coast, devastating Louisiana. The powerful storm made landfall as a Category 5. It caused nearly 1,400 deaths and an estimated $200 billion in damages. It remains the costliest storm in U.S. history, but the monetary cost is only a small part of the picture. The storm made a major impact on the lives of the people who were there, displacing more than 1 million people, some of whom never went back. A handful of Hurricane Katrina survivors made their way to Colorado after the storm. Robert Dale Brunet is one of them. He is joining us now live in studio. Robert, thank you for making the time this morning. We appreciate it. Hard to believe tomorrow marks 20 years ago since this storm.
It's incredible. We've fit a lot of things into that time, but there's still people struggling. It definitely changed the city, though.
Obviously, we know a lot more about the hurricane now than we did when you were first getting the warnings. Did you think the hurricane was going to be as bad as it was? You know, full disclosure, I'm from that area as well, and hurricanes weren't anything new to the Gulf Coast.
No, I mean, my very first memories were of Hurricane Betsy in 1965, so I kind of grew up with it. I feel like I experienced just about every major storm that hit the city in my younger years. So we were prepared. We were expecting it. The year before, you might recall, there was Hurricane Ivan.
Right.
And that was going to be the big one. And we sandbagged the house and we did everything we could, but it veered off at the last minute. So you get a little bit gun shy sometimes by the reports.
What ended up being the deciding factor for you and your family to get out of Dodge?
Well, we didn't get out of Dodge. That's the story. We actually stayed in the city. My home was about 40 miles north of the city, but we commuted into the city every day, and my wife worked at one of the hotels in town.
Right.
So we typically evacuated vertically. They call it a vertical evacuation. It means getting up into a tall building so you don't have to worry. But flooding was, occasionally a problem, but it was mostly about being in a sturdy place that wasn't going to blow away. So we evacuated vertically, but we didn't make that decision until 20 years ago today, which was the Sunday before the hurricane hit. We had to make a choice to get into the traffic and maybe possibly ride the storm out in the hurricane in our cars, or we could evacuate into the city. We chose to go into the city.
Now, you write something interesting. So you have a book coming out about this.
I do,
right
indeed.
Now, pre-sales are going on. If anybody's interested, we'll get to that here in just a minute. But you wrote something pretty interesting, which is said you didn't just learn a lot about how the storm itself behaved, but this was kind of a lesson of your first notion of how quickly the veneer of civilization can be blown away.
And that's really the message in the book, is that we live in a world where we expect things to be there, the lights, the water, the power, the people in the streets. Within 24 hours, the city of New Orleans reverted to utter chaos. This was a major metropolitan city in the United States, where it had devolved into chaos in a very short period of time. I had to deal with a lot of issues, including, have I put my own family in danger by this choice? But there were a lot more people who suffered worse fate and catastrophe than we did. We feel blessed that we got through it. But the book really tells the story not only of the storm, but what happened after the storm.
Speaking of what happened after, okay, you, along with many other people, you left the state. You first went to Texas.
That's
then
correct.
You ended up in Colorado Springs. Tell me a little bit about your journey there.
So I had a really good friend that lived in Westminster, and he was one of the first people that called me after the hurricane, and his first question was, how much money do you need?
Yeah.
And it was an amazing thing. I didn't take him up on his offer, but he did offer to house us if we wanted to come up to Colorado. I had been coming to Colorado since I was in college. I love skiing, I love the mountains and the view, so it seemed like a natural choice. My wife actually lived in Colorado Springs when she was married to her first husband, and both of her older children were born in Colorado Springs. So again, it seemed like a natural choice. During the drive from New Orleans to Texas to Fort Worth, my wife got in contact with the folks at the Broadmoor, and they told her, hey, if you come up here, we'd love to talk to you.
Wow. Okay, great. Well, I want to talk about your book real fast.
Yes, of course.
So it's Katrina, the day the city drowned. In here, of course, you write from your own experience, but it's not really so much a memoir as it is almost a survival guide that you learned.
Well, I share with people that during the hurricane and afterwards, for many, many months, I was in that survival mode. I had that 1,000-yard stare. I was waiting for the next thing to happen. Even though when we moved to Colorado, we were still finding our way. But it was always, for me, what's the next thing I have to be prepared for to protect my family? But Colorado Springs welcomed us. Colorado welcomed us. We actually opened a restaurant in Colorado Springs for a number of years, and we're able to share that Cajun hospitality as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We know all about that Cajun
Yeah.
hospitality. Well, Robert, we appreciate you making time this morning. By the way, the book, Katrina, The Day the City Drowned, is coming out in October. You can pre-order it on pre-sale right now at www.rdbrunet.com.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
We appreciate your time.